Hello everyone, welcome back to Durbanites FPL. It's time for the Game Week 10 preview after an action-packed Game Week 9. Let's get starting with the table. Looky, what's happening there? Another new leader at the top. So Fantasy having a fantastic week and showing up at the top of the table, 21-point lead over myself. And there you see the last two leaders, they're dropping quite a bit after having a terrible week. Some new joiners in the top 10 as well. Dollar the Scorer having a great week and popping up into the top 10 after a terrible start to the season. Looking down below, both the champs are still sitting in the bottom half of the table. Fatih FC is dropping further and further every week. And Umer is still having a big war with himself down at the bottom of the table. Looking at player selections for the weeks, only three staples. João Pedro has now dropped off the radar after some terrible performances, so Erling Haaland still leads the pack. Antoine Semenyo in there for second, and Mo Salah still hanging on just barely after his performances in the last couple of weeks. Probably his last-minute goal saving him there. Now looking at the differentiators, Eberechi Eze owned by one manager, pulling up double figures, as did Joe Rodon owned by two, and Bruno Guimaraes as well owned by two. Pedro Porro, the most owned differentiator, 8 managers picking up on Pedro Porro and picking up an 11 points with him. Now what did that mean on the overall for hits and misses? Defense definitely back up there, so Titanium Walls 40 plus points for Fatih, Zax and Squish, we know she'll be there. Iron Wall again, myself, Pai Azra, Mobs and Suzai and Squish again picking up big defensive points this week. And then the Stonewall as well with Didi Atasuan and Mohamed Sadiq. No strikers performing this week, at least not good enough to get them onto the charts. But look at that flaming bench. Almost 30 points for Zai and twice for Umer in a week that saw the defenders really kick it up a notch, and them sitting with Van de Ven on the bench did not help at all. Now, let's look at what that means for the best possible selection from last week. Petrovic gets the number 1 jersey, putting Vicario on the bench. Van de Ven gets the captain's armband with an insane 23 points, clean sheet, bonuses, 2 goals as well. Joe Rodon picking up 13, Pedro Porro 11, Console with 8, and Gabriel with 9. In the midfield, Brian Mbumo coming up with 15 for Manchester United, Eberechi Eze with 11, Guimaraes with 10, as well as Soboslai. Lyle Foster gets his first appearance here as the ranked forward, with Neto and Isidore having to sit on the bench, and Bowen as well. So this team would have got you 148 excluding the bench boost and 174 with big bench, and looking at a total cost of 88.9. So again, a very affordable 11 if you're looking to go that way. Let's look at the matchups coming up for the week ahead and the next 10 weeks. Aston Villa, tough game with Liverpool, even though their form is not there. I mean, you cannot discount the fact that it is Liverpool, so you got to watch them. But Aston Villa are resurgent at this moment in time. Bournemouth taking on City again. Bournemouth in fine form, City slipping a little bit. Let's see how that will do and how these games will help Arsenal solidify as they take on Burnley. Now, looking at Liverpool as well, terrible run of form and coming up against a very tough Aston Villa team before they take on City. It's not looking good for Liverpool at this moment in time. And of course, Man City taking on Bournemouth, who are very much on form. Then Liverpool, then Newcastle, and they are also slipping a little bit. Spurs, tough games coming up. Chelsea this weekend, and then Manchester United, who are looking to be on the up before taking on Arsenal in that North London derby. So it's not an easy time. So we are rather focusing on Arsenal, who have a fantastic game and run of games ahead. Then looking at Brighton as well, who have been really good and on form. Then Chelsea, Fulham and Newcastle as our picks. When we look at that in terms of players, Alisson's still out, and look at the lineup of defenders that are out or doubtful. So just got to be very, very careful about that. I have Romero from Spurs listed as out. I believe he is training, so possibly you want to take a chance on him. Fulham has got some great games coming up, but look at their injuries as well. Anderson and Robinson out. That's going to weaken their backline. And you'll see later on Jimenez and Muniz both highly doubtful, so that injures their front line, which means they're really looking at a very strong midfield to pull them through these games. But our picks are rare from Arsenal, of course, fantastic form for him. Pope from Newcastle, great games coming up. Sanchez from Chelsea because of the fixtures, and then Roos from Sunderland, who's been fantastic on form. Then we're looking at Chiloba and James from the defensive side, Gabriel and Timber. So look at those pairings if you want to go that way. And then looking at Byrne, Gehi, Van Hack, and De Keper. So let's jump in and look at the midfield then. Noni Madueke, Gabriel Martinelli, highly doubtful, and Odegaard out for Arsenal, which means you're looking at good minutes for Saka and Eze in that Arsenal lineup. Madison Kulusevski still out for Spurs, Palmer out for Chelsea, Rodri highly doubtful for Manchester City, Mitoma in doubt, as is Gravenberch, even though he has been training. Now, Salah, after his goal last week, we're still going to keep him on this week against Villa, but not highly favoured. Reinders and Foden still make the top 11 for Manchester City, with Rodri's injury as well. Semenyo at Bournemouth just based on form. Kudus and Tell because of the goal scoring abilities there. Saka, Rice are the call-outs here, and Eze is one that you can add for Arsenal. Then you've got Estevao for Chelsea and Neto because the attacking threat. Ismail Assar on form in the midweek against Liverpool, 2 goals for him. Then look at Brian Mbumo, again another on-form player for Manchester United. Jorginho Rutter and Jakob Menti for Brighton based on the fixtures they have. And then Anthony Gordon and Bruno Guimaraes out for Newcastle. Going to the forwards, again, a long list of injuries there. Gabby Jesus and Kai Havertz are still out, so Gyökeres is a lock for minutes. Liam Delap, funnily enough, has just come back from injury and picked up 2 yellow cards midweek and so is suspended for this game. So no Liam Delap, unfortunately, even though João Pedro is not scoring as well as he should. Wissa still out for Newcastle, Solanke still out for Spurs. Muniz and Jimenez, we mentioned this one before, both of them highly doubtful, but may actually get a split of minutes in the Fulham fixtures. Evan Nilsson is highly doubtful for Bournemouth. Wood is out for Nottingham Forest. Isak out for Liverpool, unfortunately after catching a knock. And Eddie Nketiah is doubtful for Crystal Palace, but of course Jean-Philippe Mateta is ready to go. Now looking at the picks, Haaland still at the top based on his form. Then you've got Waltemade, who's still scoring about a goal a game. Ekitike, who will definitely get a start now with Isak being out. Chesko for Manchester United, who's looking dangerous as well. Igor Thiago for Brentford, who's been knocking back the goals. Gyok is there as a lock. Welbeck for Brighton, fantastic game, and Welbeck is known for scoring well against these teams. Raul Jimenez is still the pick because of the fixtures ahead for Fulham, and of course he's the least injured between the two of them. Then look at Mateta as well, or Isidore for Sunderland. So those are the picks that we have for this week, guys. Still on the road, so making it a quick and short one, but looking forward to hearing from you. Don't forget to drop a like and comment. Let us know what you think is going to happen to Liverpool. Are they going to break their streak, or are they just going to go all the way down to the bottom here? Looking forward to hearing from you. Don't forget that the deadline is on Saturday at 2:30 Central European time. If I'm not mistaken, it should be 3:30 then Central African time. So don't forget to get those changes in and be aware. So long for now.